Hi everyone, welcome to See You at USC here on Trojan Vision. I'm your host Nick Alfano, and we have a great show planned for you today as I'll be interviewing actor and philanthropist RJ Mitty. So get your popcorn ready, it's See You at USC. Thank you all for tuning in to Thursday night here at See You at USC. Again, I'm host Nick Alfano, and I'm here with our lovely guest, RJ Mitty. Thank you so much for coming on tonight, man.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, RJ, I'd like to start off by you talking about the main obstacle that you've had to overcome in your acting career to get to where you are right now.
What, auditioning? There's many obstacles to overcome when it comes to this industry and getting into it. One of them, it all depends on what you consider an obstacle. I've been lucky enough to be able to be working and staying busy and constantly pushing forward and working with amazing organizations on bringing awareness about CP and different important topics that no one really always wants to speak about or hear about or see about. And I've had the pleasure to do exactly that, is bring up important discussions. And one of the obstacles that I faced when I was younger, but it wasn't really an obstacle, was having CP and having cerebral palsy. But to me, that's not an obstacle. That's knowledge, and I was able to utilize it to turn it into this industry and for me into a career. So can you tell our audience a little bit about what it's like to have cerebral palsy? Just explain it to them in case they don't know. Yeah, well, for people that don't know what CP is, CP can be caused from a number of things. It's most commonly caused at childbirth from lack of oxygen to the brain, damaging parts of the brain. Most common are fine gross motor skills, hand-eye coordination, and spasticity of the ligaments. My CP is I have spastic cerebral palsy, where my muscles are tightening and convulsing. It's kind of the same concept as a Charlie horse. Is the best way to relate to it. But there's two types. One is spastic cerebral palsy, and I can never remember the technical name for it. I've said this so many times that I always forget it, but I should probably actually look it up. But I just call it not unspastic cerebral palsy, because it does the complete opposite.
Right.
It loosens the muscles. I always forget the name of it. But luckily, I had a fairly mild case, and when I was younger, no one really could diagnose me. They knew I had something. They just didn't know what.
Right.
And luckily, a man that my grandmother knew saw me and was like, "Oh, does your grandson have CP?" And she was like, "We don't really know what he has, but he has something." And he wind up turning out to be a Shriner, and sent me to Shriners Hospitals for Children, where I was diagnosed there and immediately put in occupational therapy and speech therapy, and I was at 3 at the time.
Okay.
Fitted for braces on my legs and immediately wrapped up and put in a cast. And at the time, cast only came in 2 colors. They came in black and they came in white. So being from Louisiana, which I am, 2 things are going to happen. It's going to get extremely hot and it's going to get extremely dirty.
Yeah.
But I always tried to be stylish. I stuck with black, so it got extremely hot. And I would cut them off and freeze coins and drop them in them and do all kinds of things to keep them cool. But I was able to learn a lot from my disability and what it gave me, and I never thought it was abnormal to have these things. I never thought it was weird to have braces and casts. I never thought it was odd to go to physical therapy and occupational therapy, and until I went to school and someone asked, they were like, what's what's wrong with you? Why do you got these things on? And I'm like, well, nothing's wrong with me. What's wrong with you? I use these. These are what I do. What I deal with on a daily basis. And I never thought it was odd, but I still really don't. I think more people that see it it's more normal to them than not. I feel that with disability in this world today, with the access that we have, it should be more of a normality than an abnormality.
Yeah.
So,
was there a certain age that you progressed out of all the physical therapy and the casts and the braces?
Nah, the braces and casts, yes. I was around 13 when I stopped wearing braces and casts. If I probably got measured today, and that's where they go in and they check your leg out, see how much elasticity you have in it, they'd probably throw me in casts today, because I haven't really been stretching. But I'm always exercising. I'm constantly trying to take control over my body. The thing about any type of physical disability is it's always trying to take control over you. But if you work at it and you continue to work at it, over time you can keep control. And that's what I do almost on a daily basis. It's constantly stretching, and when I don't feel lazy. Yeah. But just keep pushing forward. And I think that goes for everyone, not just with a physical disability.
And so you said you got your braces off at age 13,
yes,
correct? So
correct.
Did that overlap with your acting career at all?
A little bit. I had them on for a couple of times, but I always wanted. I never liked to rely on anything. I'm fairly, for the most part, an independent person when it comes down to it, other than the team of people that help me all the time. But for the most part, I don't like to rely on anything. I always like to be able to work and grow and be self-sufficient. So I was always trying to get out of them. I started acting when I was around 13, 12, 13, when I moved here because of my little sister. And it didn't really cross over, but when I wore them, people would ask and I would explain it to them. I never really was afraid to talk about it. A lot of people don't want to talk about their braces or their chair or crutches or whatever it is that is a part of them that they need.
Right.
But for me, it was never really something that scared me to talk about. I was like, oh, would you like to know? I have no problem telling you why I need these.
Yeah. So in what ways do you feel that disabilities, physical or mental, could possibly impact an actor's career path or job prospects?
Well, I think having a physical and mental, whatever it is, whatever is ailing you, whatever you think is holding you back, or it's actually doing the complete opposite. It's teaching you something that you don't know about yourself. It's driving you, and that's how I've always looked at it. And I think when it comes to acting, the more, to one degree or another, the more trauma you have, the better. It's something to pull from. You can pull from your experiences. And I think that's really what tells actors apart, is actors that learn how to pull from their own emotions and then breathe life into a character. And being able to do that is not always an easy feat. But if you have enough to pull from, and when having anything that you have to overcome physically or mentally, and I think we all have something like that in our life, we can pull from that, and it helps when you create a character that needs that layer of depth. So.
And so, pulling from that experience, you've sort of teamed up with Shriners Hospital to create this whole bullying campaign, correct? Can you elaborate on that for us?
Yeah, I can. I started working with Shriners when I was 3 as a patient, and being able to utilize what Breaking Bad has given me, and the notoriety and the career it pretty much allowed me to have. I came to Shriners and was like, how can I help? What can I do? What can I bring awareness to it? And we were talking, and we were going and meeting kids and going to hospitals, and I was already doing activism work for anti-bullying campaigns and working with different ones, but I never really was able to do my own, and they were great, but they weren't what I was looking for. And what I was looking for is a campaign that's not going to tell you that we're gonna stop bullying and we're gonna end it and prevent it, because we can't. But what we can do is, when we see it, we can cut it out, and what we came up with was cut the bull. And Drew DeLuna, who works for Shriners and who helped, we sat in this meeting one day, and we're coming up with this campaign, and he came up with a name, and it's like perfect. That's the name, and we were really excited to release this, especially on the first for Anti-Bullying Month, and it was amazing. And now we have the website cutthebull.org, and we're trying to get people to share stories of heroes in their community and bring awareness to those people that are making a difference and an impact for standing up for what they believe in and standing up for what they know is right and what they need to do to evolve in this world.
And has there been a favorite part of this whole Cut the Bullying campaign to you personally? Like, there been something that's really touched you that you're like, wow, you know, this is so great that I'm doing this?
Well, I think for me, working with Shriners, I'm really happy that I was able to partner with them and be a part of that. But with it, I've seen so many stories and so many people that are making an impact in the community and having a really big impact in showing it's okay to step out of a realm of comfort. It's okay to step into a new light and not be afraid and manipulated by a fear to get involved. And when you see someone being bullied and when you see someone that needs help, to come into that life and show them that someone can help them.
Yeah. And so, I mean, to many people and many of us here at the studio today, you know, you're not only a survivor, but you're a victor. And how do you think how does that classification make you feel?
I mean, there's still a lot to win. There's still a lot of battles ahead, and for everyone, we're not just winning and losing. We're always surviving, and we're always fighting forward. And I just try to keep pushing forward and keep working. And that's, I mean, we're lucky to do it. So.
And, you know, through all of your film and TV career, you know, you obviously must have a lot of food for thought to give out. So how do you think in those industries disabilities can best be perceived?
Well, I work for a number of organizations that are trying to change the mindset of how people perceive disability. And I think lately it's been to a great benefit and to a great prevail over what it used to be. And how people are responding to disabilities. They're more accepting and more willing to see them. And I think it took a while for companies and production companies to see that disability is lucrative. That disability is something that people want more of because it's actuality. It's real life. There is no such thing as being perfect. There's not even such thing as being normal. Right. Like, to me, like the sky and the earth, that's normal. Like, people are far from normal. I've been lucky enough to work with SAG and AFTRA to do exactly that and bring awareness and help fight and to educate people of the importance of having disabled characters, because if we keep showing disabled characters on television and showing people that have these challenges as normal people, not as victims or heroes, but as people in society, we can bring that normality to everyone. And it starts with kids and showing them on television and bringing it up and keep that conversation going. Yeah,
I mean, that's an incredibly interesting viewpoint. I mean, did the guys at Breaking Bad, were they able to do anything for you in terms of that?
Yeah, I played a character that had a disability, but the show wasn't about just having a disability. The show was about so much more. And what was funny is people did see a disability in the beginning, but over time it did fade away and you saw a real character.
Yeah, so. All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be right back with RJ Mitty, actor and philanthropist, after this short break. I have an 8 a.m. class. Thank you all for tuning in to See You at USC. I'm your host, Nick Alfano. Welcome back. Just a reminder to follow us on Twitter at CUATUSC and like us on Facebook at CU at USC. And additionally, to go on to cutthebull.org for RJ Mitty's bullying campaign. Again, we're back here with RJ Mitty. So RJ, obviously, you know, your big exposure as an actor thus far in your life has been on Breaking Bad. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience? I know you probably have a lot to share.
No, yeah, I mean, I was very lucky. I booked this right out of the gate, pretty much. But I auditioned 5 times for it, 4 in Los Angeles, once in New Mexico, and I was 13 turning 14 when I first started the show, and I finished the show 20 turning 21. And it was nice. It was really nice because we had an amazing group of people that really cared, and I learned the importance of having a passion for what you're doing and caring about what you're doing, because you have a lot of people that don't always put that same passion into their work, and we really in this industry you have to have it. But it was an amazing opportunity for me because it gave me so many different skills and so many different ways of looking at characters and what I can bring to a character, and I wouldn't have been able to do what I do today if it wasn't for the show and what the show has given me, because I promise you I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Breaking Bad. I wouldn't be able to work with all the organizations I get to work with. I mean, I would work with some of them no matter what. I have a couple of family. I sit on the board of my family's organization for a number of different things, but I would have been stuck with that one. But I'm happy too, and but I wouldn't be able to reach as many people and be doing what I can do to make a difference.
I mean, that's amazing. And how are the people on cast and on set like in Breaking Bad? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would like an inside scoop on that.
We had so much fun. I loved working with Brian and Anna, but the main thing I loved working on with them was doing an ensemble shot, where it was me, Brian, Anna, Betsy, and Dean, and just everyone that was part of it, and Steven, and just having those big group shots were so much fun, and they were long, but they were a lot of fun, because when you have a good group of people that are all well-rounded and have an amazing work history and have been doing it for far longer than I have, you can grow, and that's when people start pushing, and you get that bar level, and you're like, oh, you're going to do that in the scene? Well, I'm coming up here. And you keep raising that bar and pushing each other, and it's fun to have that and have that camaraderie, because not a lot of things have that. I've been very lucky, though, in my career to only work with some of the best people that this job has to offer. I've been blessed. As soon as I finished Breaking Bad, I went to I did another show called Vegas, which everyone was awesome on, and I was a character on a show called Switch to Birth, which I loved, and I loved everyone a part of it, because I knew a few of them prior to the role, so it was really fun, and they welcomed me as a family, and it was so much fun. But since then I was able to do a few movies and just keep pushing forward in my career, and it's fun. I get to create characters that aren't always what people would consider normal characters.
And you mentioned you love doing those group shots specifically. Can you take us back to when you were on your first show, maybe that first taping, what it was like doing that first group shot?
Yeah, it was the pilot when we first did that, and then it was, I think the first big group shot was the episode, I don't remember, I'm pretty sure it was still the pilot, but it was the talking pillow, and we're all sitting around this couch and passing a pillow around, and it was Brian, Anna, Betsy, and me and Dean, and it was the camaraderie, the comedy, and it was a fairly dark moment, because at the time he was telling people about his cancer and dying, and that fear that he had of that and leaving his family, and it was this very deep moment, but every time it would be cut, we would just have fun and be laughing and enjoying what we were doing, and it's when you have a family like that, and you're a part of a family cast, and everyone, even the crew, we had between a cast and crew of 500 that was just brilliant, and it was a dream role. Like, nothing I would do, nothing I would ever go back and change. It was perfect the way it was.
I mean, did any of those group shots feel so surreal to you that you were working with all these great people and you kind of sat down and were like, man, I really made it here? I mean, this is such a great place.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I wouldn't put it like, man, I really made it here. I think there's always a next level to that. I was more of this is what it's like to be a part of a major group of people, and that energy and that camaraderie, and being able to try and hold my own, and in doing that, I was really lucky to be able to just be in the same room as these people. But there's always something out there that will always trump it, and yes, Breaking Bad will be hard to trump, but it will not be the last thing. So.
Absolutely not. And just to delve into your character a little more, how much effort and preparation did it really take for you to fully get consumed by Walter White Jr.?
I mean, I go into every role ready and ready to present that character and present that soul to the role. I think a lot of it came from visual aesthetics, because when you see Walt Jr. for the first time, you see a kid with a disability, you see the crutches. But as you start watching the show, that evolves, and you forget that he has those things, and I think that was really important and a great testament to the importance of having characters with disability on the screen and bringing that awareness, because if you put enough out there and you keep showing characters like that, they forget that they are disabled and have crutches and chairs. You don't see that anymore, and that's what's important to have. And that's what Walt Jr. was able to bring, was that glaze and being able to move past that. But it was fun. It's sad to see a character like that go, but we were lucky to have an ending. We were lucky that everything came to a close to one degree or another and solidified a new beginning of a different story.
Right.
So,
I mean, and did you see yourself really becoming a serious actor as the show is progressing? Like, this is a profession that I'm looking to pursue?
I mean, I've always treated everything that I do like a profession, no matter what it is. I always put 100% into it, because no matter what you do, if you don't put your whole self into into what you're doing, you're not going to get the full potential out of that product and out of whatever it is that you're doing. It's like a test. If you don't study for your test, you think you're going to do good.
Yeah.
My sister, on the other hand, probably yes. Me, not so much. But I always try to put 100% in, and even at the risk of whatever, I always put my character first.
So, I mean, I remember being a kid of, 13, 14 years old when you started. I mean, to think you were actually having a serious role on a big TV show, something amazing to me. I mean, you never thought of it as just a hobby, like you were just doing it for fun?
Yes and no. There's a lot that goes behind what I was doing and working so hard for. I did look at it as a hobby and for fun, and I did it in the beginning to meet people my own age, but I did do it for a job, and
right.
And that's professional. At the time, my mom was paralyzed, and it was just me and my sister, and it was something that I had to focus on and work for. And if I wanted to do it, I had to treat it like a job, because if I didn't, we couldn't afford not to. So at the end of the day, it was still, yes, was fun, and it was something that I looked at as passion and a hobby. At the same time, I had to look at it as a job and as a work. And when you are in a role like that, you do see it as a business. Mm-hmm. And as you start working for people like bigger companies, you have to treat it like a business, because it is exactly that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's incredibly interesting. I mean, was there a moment when you felt that you were completely consumed by Walter White Jr., as if you were him as opposed to your own self?
I mean, every time that action, every time you have to say action, that's when you snap into it, and that's when I try to leave me off stage and keep my character on stage. And I think that's what's really important, and that's bringing that organicness to it, where you can live in that character's shoes. Every time I play a character, I try to take away all my traits and keep all his traits. And when you leave the set, I leave them there. I don't bring them home, because if you bring a character home, it won't always end well for you, especially when you're dealing with characters that are depressed and that are sad, and you have to do emotional scenes. And when you do an emotional scene, it's emotionally exhausting.
Right.
It really is. But those are my favorite scenes, and I'm able to just leave it at home when I'm leave it on the set when I'm done with it, and come home and decompress and be me again.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like being me.
Yeah.
I like being the other characters. I like them a lot better, and they're a lot more fun.
So no scene or one episode has ever emotionally affected you?
One in particular really did, and it was about when I find Brian's character. I find him. The garage door opens, and he is hurt, and he's talking about his father. My grandfather died of emphysema, and that day really struck me.
Mm-hmm.
But that was that. But other than that, we just had fun doing it.
That's
so.
awesome. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show today. We really appreciate it. Thank you all for tuning in to Thursday night here at CU at USC. It's been a great show. Make sure to check out cutthebull.org for RJ's bullying campaign, and follow us on social media. Thank you so much.
You're watching Trojan Vision. For more of your favorite shows, check us out at trojanvision.com and like us on Facebook.